So our next question comes to us from Wayne in Deerfield Beach, Florida, and he's talking about the body and some of the interior parts, and he's asking why plastic. Well, Wayne, first we explored doing the body and some of the interior parts in fiberglass. Now I have a lot of experience with making fiberglass molds, so I figured that would be the way to go. We made some Lamborghini replica bodies. I know other guys who have, and honestly it is a complete nightmare. To make a fiberglass part, we need a fairly stout fiberglass mold. So this mold in this shop took about $1,000 to produce if we talk about the labor and the materials, the overhead for the shop. And then what we pulled off of this was a carbon fiber part, which we're really pretty happy with the part, and that could have been fiberglass. This is about $35 in materials, and it's a couple hours to produce once we have the mold. Back to the mold, we made this heavy-duty commercial-style mold because we intended to produce a lot of parts off of it, but it's really a lot of work just in making the mold itself. And if we were going to make molds for all the parts for the whole vehicle, that translates into thousands of dollars and probably thousands of hours of just making molds for the parts, and then the expense involved in carbon fiber or fiberglass. So what we turned to was plastic. Now, this is the mold for the inner fender well, and where the landing gear goes up into there. It's just a dust cover, and it really didn't need to be anything fancy. So when we turned to plastic, what we discovered was, one, we didn't need a mold near this exotic or fancy heavy-duty. It could literally just be a salad bowl with a 2x4 on top of it, without this expensive automotive body working and automotive baked on finish on our half-inch thick fiberglass mold. We don't need that at all to do the vacuum forming. We just need something that has the basic shape to it that we want to form over. Now in our shop for commercial production, we will make real nice molds like this, but the do-it-yourself guy at home does not need to produce expensive commercial molds like this for doing plastic forming. You can see the plastic form part. This took about a minute to make once we had our mold, and it's just a few dollars plastic. And so we've decided that's how we're going to do the entire body. Now on a modern sport bike, the parts are this one is plastic injection molded ABS. But that could be vacuum formed plastic, and honestly this is very thick. That's a little old, off an older bike. On a newer bike the plastic isn't even nearly that thick, just to try and get a little more weight, rid of a little more weight. This is an example of a little bit thinner part. This again is an ABS plastic part off a modern sport bike. And so that's how we're going to do the body and the different panels and the interior panels on the cabin bike, is with this vacuum formed plastic. Once we have the molds, it's very fast and relatively cheap to produce the parts. And what we plan on doing for the project is we will produce these types of parts here. We will make them available to you. So if you build a chassis for a few dollars, you just buy the plastic part from us. We did not want to commercially produce fiberglass parts and fiberglass molds and make them available for sale, but we're happy to do it in the plastic. So you can either make these parts at home, pretty darn simple. Make sure you see the videos on our plastic forming machine that you can make yourself. And the plastic is going to be a lot cheaper than doing the vehicle in either fiberglass or carbon fiber, just because of the molds that are required.